Okay, so once again, welcome to this moon meditation, information, reading of the stars. And today we're looking at the new moon in Cancer that is happening in a few hours from now. Just 3 minutes before midnight here in Casablanca and 22:57 minutes Universal Time. So there's a lot to say about this moon, but let's start a little bit with the context in which this moon is happening. Number one, if you're experiencing, let's say, forms of liberation or the emergence of information into your consciousness, things that, oh, of course, this is what it is, or some understandings that you're starting to see, or patterns that you're starting to see. This could be the effect of a few planets that are retrograde. For the moment, we have 3 planets that are retrograding. We have Pluto that started to retrograde on the 2nd of May, and that will be retrograde until the 12th of October. And then it will go back into Aquarius, where it will enter around the 21st of January. So that's, remember, the the concept that is associated with retrogradation of a planet is the revision. It asks us to go over a certain number of things so that we can take a new perspective, a new view, and renew them. So Pluto is the renewer in itself. So already that's a lot of energy. Although Pluto also affects, most importantly, like everyone. It's a planet associated with, the entire Earth. It also has its movement has an impact directly on our own reality or the way we experiment life. The second planet, big planet that is going retrograde is Saturn. And it started its retrogradation just a few days ago on the 29th of June. And it will stay in this motion until the 15th of November. So that's July, August, September, October, 4 months and a half. It's a lot of time to revise stuff related to Saturn. Structures, karma, past, many, many times that are, many, many things that are really, let's say, it's meaty. When we get into Saturn retrograde, there's a lot of things, a lot on our plate that we can be called to revise. And the 2nd of July, and that's 3 days ago, it's Neptune that started to retrograde in Pisces. And it will stay in that motion until the 7th of December. Again, many, many months. And Neptune is going to connect us to our dreams, our ideals, etc. This is what we will be called to revise. So that's a lot. That's a lot to go over. And as I said, where Saturn invites us to review the structures according to which we have built our existence, everything that holds our reality together, really. Our family structure, our friends, our life structure, everything that we have constructed so that we can walk our lives under a certain frame. Neptune, on the other hand, is inviting us to review, as I said, our ideals, our dreams, what makes us tick, where do we want to go, what direction we want to give to our life. And I find it's a beautiful thing that these two are inviting us to take a new look at these themes together and at the same time, because one is holding the reality for the other. Know that Saturn and Neptune retrogradation are not synchronized. Both planets have different orbits around the sun, so they're not meant to be retrograde together. I mean, not for such a long period of time. So it is a, I don't want to say it's a special event, because given the amount of time they go retrograde, they are bound to overlap. But now they are together retrograding almost for the maximum duration possible, give or take 3 days. So it's kind of it's giving us a lot of time to redesign what is it that we want from our lives and how we want to construct it, how we want to build it. And I think it's perfect, because the dream is going to give us which structure is supporting that dream. Are they both retrograding in Pisces? Saturn is in Pisces indeed, and Neptune is in Pisces. Yes, Neptune is at the last degree of Pisces, and it will go back a little bit. And Saturn, I think, is at 19 degree of Pisces and will go to 14 and go forward once again. So, so this is where I see an opportunity of these two moving back together. So it's kind of neat. We're revising the dream, therefore we're revising the structure that goes with it. Pluto is the archetype that speaks of transmutation, and we are all influenced by it at the moment, and of course society as a whole and the entire planet. So that means we're collectively going through this moment of revising what we want and our ideals. You can take a look at the elections that are happening at the moment in France, happening in the UK, and the soon to happen elections in the US. So all of these are very important countries at the planetary scale. And also a few weeks ago, there were elections in Europe. So that's a lot of revision that is going on, also collectively. And of course, this is affecting us deeply. And when we remember that for the world to change, we need to change individually, this planetary configuration all makes sense. That while we can see with our eyes that things are being rejigged or revised or let's say reevaluated at a global level, the same work is true for us individually in our own life. And we are in a new moon, which is the time of beginning, the time of initiating something. So my take on this, it's a very auspicious time. It might not be comfortable. It might not be what we had planned to do at this moment or whatever, but it is a very auspicious time to do this revision, because we have help, and we're going to go into the details of what kind of help we have to do this. So in the light of what I just said, this new moon is really a powerful moment of initiation, of beginnings. And something remarkable is happening in the sky tonight. Really, really special. We have an incredible boost in that movement of gestating something new, of initiating something new. And we have that coming from two master stars, two fixed stars that are perfectly aligned with this new moon. First of all, we have the sun and moon that are conjunct Sirius to the degree, like literally they're sitting on the same degree of the zodiac at 14 degree 23 in Cancer. And on this other side of zodiac, we have Vega. And these, very briefly, before I go into the details of each of them, these are the cosmic archetypes of the father and the mother. And I think this is just amazing to have those overlooking a moment where we want to create a new reality, where we want to create a new path for ourselves and a new structure to support it. In the same, it's almost like a free card to, redesign and be reborn under a much higher vibration than what we are experiencing right now. So Sirius, let's start with this. Sirius is the royal star. It's a system of 2 stars, maybe 3 stars, but we know that at least it's 2 stars that are located in the mouth of the constellation Canis Major. It's the dog that is behind the constellation of Orion, the hunter. They usually describe them as the hunter and its dog in the sky. Ancient people believe that Sirius was our central sun. So it would be the sun of our sun. So you begin to understand how it is in higher octave of the reality we're living in, generally speaking. So being the higher octave of the sun, it's the higher octave of ourselves, of our who we are really on this planet and in this world. In Egypt, it's related to Horus and Osiris, the son and the father. And I know that the 2 of you are following the teachings of Matthias de Stefano. And you know that Sirius is a very important star that marks the beginning of the Atlantean year, where it rises up above the horizon at the beginning of August. So it is it's a widely known star. Many ancient cultures know about that star and it has had a very special place in mythologies, including in Quran, which I discovered recently that there was a chapter dedicated to stars where Sirius is mentioned. So it is a very powerful archetype, at least for its presence in our history, in our blood, in our collective consciousness, to say the least. In myth, it is associated to the dweller of the threshold. And I want to detail a little bit this concept. The dweller of the threshold it sounds like it's a character, a person, but it's an energy. It's the sum of all our shadows that when we are about to break through to a higher vibration or a higher frequency, this is the sum of shadows that we need to confront before we get into the next level, our next stage of evolution. And I'm talking about spiritual evolution. And it's a very interesting concept because it speaks about the last bits of, let's say, our unconscious, or if you want to call it our shadows, that we haven't seen yet, that we haven't resolved yet, and are preventing us from progressing, growing, moving forward. And Sirius speaks of that. And it speaks of that, but it's also help us put light on that. Sirius is the kind of star that requires a lot of integrity and honesty in what we do. So it will bring its help if we are really dedicated to dealing with these shadows in the best ability, in the best of our abilities. But it comes from that giving our all to that work of dealing with our shadows, connecting to higher vibrations for as much as we can. What else? It's associated to the summer solstice, or rather the June solstice, which is the summer in the northern hemisphere, and the winter in the southern hemisphere. Although it has the connection with the archetype of the south, which is more connected to summer, to the season of summer. It's a very, very subtle energy. It is said that we It's an energy that is hard for us to understand, but we do have access to it. So it's a wonderful moment to connect to Sirius at the moment. And to the archetype it represents, the father, the masculine, and it represents expansion and flourishing. So I find that it's really beautiful that when sun and moon are meeting in the sky, they are meeting today under Sirius, under, let's say, the higher octave of the sun. And straight on the opposite side of the zodiac, we have Vega. Vega is the brightest star of the constellation of Lyra. In China, Vega is called the Queen Mother. So you can see the feminine archetype appearing here, and the divine mother appearing in the star, in the archetype of that star. And it sits in the constellation of the Weaver. So the Weaver, the one that creates realities, the one that connects heaven and earth. And it's a very, very powerful archetype that we have here, as powerful as Sirius. Vega is the divine feminine archetype, as I said. She's the one that also heralds the passage from Earth in Capricorn into sky in Aquarius. So with new ways of thinking, with new ways of being, new creations that are allowed and helped with the presence of Vega. In Celtic tradition as well, it's a very, very important star that brings hope, that brings ideals, and that connects us to future realities. It's also a master star. It's connected to the north and the winter solstice, so the December solstice in the northern hemisphere, and June solstice in the southern hemisphere. One of the remarkable and key attributes of Vega is vibration. Vega is associated to the music of the spheres. And remember that vibration is the very nature of existence. Everything and anything exists because they vibrate at a very specific rate, at a very specific frequency. So Vega, being vibration, is the power of creation and is the verb. So it's a very, it goes, it goes beyond the receptivity of the feminine. It carries the ability of the feminine to create, to give birth, to manifest realities in matter. What else can I say about Vega? Yeah, that's about it. So you see how from their fixed points in the zodiac, the divine mother and the divine father, or the cosmic mother and the cosmic father, are magnetizing our dreams. So it's like they're pulling into a new octave, a new high frequency, our dreams, our structures, our reality, really, both collectively and individually. And think of it like a cell and an organ. The organ, if we take that as our planet, only exists because of cells. The organ is made of cells. There's no liver without 1 million liver cells. So it's very important to remember that correspondence between what we do for ourselves, within ourselves, in our in the reality that we're experimenting, and how that enters in resonance with the collective reality more and more. I mean, it's by design like this, but it's very important to be conscious of that. I hope this makes sense. So that's one very, very important, let's say, information that we have for this new moon is that cosmic mother father overlooking this new moon and pulling, or you can see it as sending frequency or pulling us towards a different frequency. And we'll see what else is happening in the skies. We have a very important protagonist in the sky, which is Saturn. The new moon, so Sun and Moon together, is trine Saturn, and they are squaring the nodal axis. So as I said, it's clearly time for revision, time to work on karmic relationship, for example. My definition of karmic relationship is those relationships where you feel there is a very strong emotional bond. Sometimes that is, you don't understand why, it doesn't make any sense, but you just feel that there is something very strong in there. It can be family, that's the easiest one to let's say see, understand. So father, mother, sisters, siblings, you know, close family, but it can be some friends, or it can be some people that are gravitating in your field, that you feel there's something very strong, positively or negatively. It doesn't have to be one way or the other. So I mean by that, it's really a good moment to review those and decide what you want out of them. How do you want them to be? It's almost like it's a review. It's really a review. It doesn't mean that they need to be broken or anything. Is it what I want, based on what I want for my future? Where does that sit? And that's the key exercise. It's also a good time to work on your personal history at an individual level, like from 0 to now, from birth to now, and what you've experienced, but also on your tree, on your ancestry. And there's an element of seeking liberation from that history, that it's kind of it's almost like how the past is conditioning our future, and revising it is an opportunity to liberate oneself or liberate ourselves from the unconscious parts that are dictating our future, so that we can choose with more freedom. So, and also it's an opportunity to reap the fruits of all our experiences. So whatever we experience goes in several ways, and one way is conditioning, but it's also gives us wisdom. So it's really reaping those fruits of wisdom that we can use for the next step in our path, but also liberating ourselves. And I think what's really important during that exercise is to agree to welcome something new. I'll repeat that because it's sometimes easy to kind of just say, oh yeah, of course I want something new. But just to take a moment and decide that we agree to welcome something new, that we are really open to something new, is almost like vibrationally opening a door that, if we stay at the mental level, can stay closed. Does that make sense? It's a very subtle distinction between, you know, just from the mind saying, yes, of course, I want something new. Oh, I don't like this house and I don't like those friends, etc., etc. But agreeing to welcoming something new is agreeing to the unknown, is agreeing to receive, is opening up to receiving something that we have never experienced before. And sometimes at the unconscious level, that just makes us vibrate in a way that makes us closed. And that's why I think it's a very important thing to do, to just take a moment to really open to the unknown, because of course the future is unknown, and that's what makes it interesting. Otherwise, we're looping in the past. I want to talk a little bit about the archetype of Cancer, because it's very useful and to work with the new moon that we are experiencing right now. As you might know already, it's an archetype that is related to family. It's related to care, to tenderness, to home, to feeling secure, its mantra is I feel. So it's really related to emotion, it's to water in particular. So with everything else that we spoke about that is happening in the sky, it could be a good time to renovate, to renew renovate like yourself entirely. It's to renovate your home, to change your home, maybe to move perhaps, or if it's the right time. But it's really renewing the understanding of those areas that I just mentioned, our understanding of those areas in our lives. Who is my family? Who do I consider my family? Where do I live? Where do I want to live? The place where I live, do I want to change it? Do I want to, make some changes, to make it better, or move completely? And how do I take care of myself? How do I nourish myself? At the physical level, at the emotional level, but also at the intellectual, spiritual, mental level. It's also a good time to look at your roots. Where are my roots? Or where do I want to put my roots? Or where do I want to have them? And this is going back to what I was saying about looking at the family tree or your ancestors, and taking a closer look to that. And most importantly, and we spoke about that at the last full moon in Capricorn, the Cancer is the greatest help to listen to our internal compass. I feel, the mantra of Cancer, is a great source of information to understand what is it that you need, what is it that is agreeing with you at the moment, and what is it that is not. So as a vibrational tool, it's wonderful. I want to talk about the new moon and its conjunction with Venus. It's wide, but it's still operational. I see this really as an invitation to connect through the heart. Everything that I said earlier, to revise, to think of what's your dream, what's the new dream, what's the new reality. The heart is it's very important to put the heart in this exercise and to have it as a central, let's say, pivot. It's really connected to the I feel, in fact, if you come to look at it closer. So it's really by listening to our heart and that we can recognize what we value most, Venus, to see what we're ready to transcend, Pluto. I spoke about that earlier, and achieve our internal revolution. Chiron is involved in this in this full moon. I think, let me check. I think it is squaring. Yes, it is squaring this new moon. So it gives us some healing available, and so through the heart, by listening to our heart, we can recognize what we value most, recognize what we are ready to transcend as well, to achieve our internal revolution, to heal as well, and come back to our own balance, where the sun and moon are together, where the father, the cosmic mother and father are overlinking this moon, can help us, find that balance and renovate our existence, let's say, on a higher frequency, guarded by Sirius and Vega. A little extra boost that we have, it is coming from Mars, that is conjunct Uranus, that gives us the ability to come up with new ideals and gives us the courage as well to work with everything that I just said. So it gives us the ability to come up with new ideals that are truthful to our essence, while being aware that we are part of a bigger organism, the collective, the society, the planet, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot to work with for this moon. And it's really like I see it as a very gentle, very loving moment to lift ourselves up into a different level of existence, a different frequency of existence, and that we are invited to choose, that we are invited to redesign completely under the loving look and care of Sirius and Vega, the cosmic and father and mother, the higher octave of our sun and moon. So to sum it up as a summary, I would say it's a great moment to connect to the cosmic father and mother, to tune into the blueprint of the future and feel it, to bring it here, to bring it now, and to seed that so that we can build our own future as an individual, but also our collective future. And at the same time, we have the tools, opportunity, and help to let go of the history, the old and the ancient patterns that no longer correspond to the blueprint that we are downloading right now. So that's that. I hope you find it useful. So let's ask the Oracle of Agartha what other information would be helpful for us today. Okay, I got two cards. It doesn't happen very often. I think it's the first, maybe it's the first time, maybe the second time. But we have two masters that came up. The first master that came up is Sanat Kumara. And the second master that came up is Amhaj. Can you see it? So let me read to you. Okay. As the one that warrants the development of the planetary consciousness, Sanat Kumara is the Lord of the world, also known as the Old of the Days. He's a cosmic consciousness working for the great planetary purpose. Coming from the highest of the divine hierarchy, Sanat Kumara chose the earth as a temporary dwelling to help all forms of life that it has within, and to make the divine light come out in harmony with the great plan. The planetary logos works through different centers that are sustained by many beings that bear within the will to accomplish the light among the seeds of the garden of earth. His essential key is be the regent of your internal system, the sovereign and the guardian of your light. I'll show you the card again. So do you see how there's a character, like a person inside a person floating in the cosmos?
Cosmic mamushkas.
Yes, exactly. Yes. And there's a Saturn here. Well, or a similar one, but here, for us, it would be Saturn, I would say. Okay. And let's see, Amhaj, what message he has for us. Oh, sorry, there is an extra information. It's a little bit long, but I think it's worth. I will try to translate simultaneously. So please bear with me, be patient. This is his message. So the message of Sanat Kumara. The best way not to fear change is to allow it and to facilitate it. When you harmonize yourself with the energies of change, you enter in the work of the great plan. When you no longer surrender to your fears, when you elevate your will above your lack of security, you will be inspired to incarnate new models of thinking and to build the new modes of relating to others based on reciprocity, transparency, humility, and sharing. You have in you the power to surrender to the great plan, to the great planetary plan, and to work together towards its realization. The realization of your true being, its purification, and its liberation can be found in the new dimension of freedom, the one that comes from your heart, from your deepest aspiration for the world, for the humans, and for all forms of life. All this love that you are bearing must extend its roots and create luminous networks to seed the earth with light and allow it to enter a new expression of life in harmony with the cosmic laws and with the cosmic and universal laws. Your work starts within and extends as a reflection towards the external world, well, as an extension of your vibration. The sun of your sky extends its rays to its cosmic sister and allows it to nourish with life. This same sun exists in each being and has as a purpose to dispense life. Do not fear to shine bright from your center and to inundate your being with this light so that it can calm your fears and benefit to your heart. I'm glad I came across that paragraph that I didn't see. Okay, let's see Amhaj, what he has to tell us. So, previously known as El Morya, Amhaj is the guardian of the blue ray of truth and the regent of one of the centers in inner earth named Aurora. Having incarnated on earth in key periods, he has had major roles to play in the liberation of the superior consciousness, in particular during the fall of Atlantis, where El Morya established the civilization of Mesopotamia. His work consists in liberating the human from its personal will and to redirect it towards a superior will for the emergence of the unified planetary consciousness. He encourages people to use the divine will rather than the lower will and works towards the liberation of the human from their own mental prison. He helps all living beings on earth during these times of great changes. The Aurora Center that he heads up has the goal of helping humanity to enter a new dawn of its experience of incarnated life. His goal is to reach the transformation of Earth and to unify the center with the surface. The essential key coming from Amhaj or El Morya is become the fertile ground for the truth by opening your heart to superior realities. And he also has a long message for us, which I'm going to read. We have all evening tonight. The great blue ray of truth protects you because it is the light that cleans you from ignorance and holds in your heart the absolute truth. The fears that you are living every day connect you to resistances that are slowly beginning to disappear. Your soul has listened to the call of the great truth, the one that lets go of time, the one that incarnates the discerning heart, the one that washes away all fears. Ignorance can only live in the shadow of the lack of absolute truth. This ray is being beamed at you right now to break the last chains and is carrying you softly towards the high sea, where the sea is going to be softer and will take you far away, facing the horizon. Truth cannot be learned. Truth cannot be sought. Truth cannot be waited for. When you ask for the liberation from a fear or from a resistance that you have conscious of, you give yourself the necessary opening for the ray of truth to enter. When something is not going in the way that you desire, call the ray of truth and welcome that ray and give it a place. Truth explains everything without ever showing itself. It is everywhere within you and around you. The human incarnates truth when he listens to his heart, his feelings, and expresses freely what he feels and his feelings of love. Truth cannot find a path to you. Truth can only find a path to you when we don't wait for it. Truth enters in the surrendering, in the welcoming, because it dwells in the heart of peace, in the sanctuary of freedom. When you resist a thought, something that you must do physically, or a feeling, you're walking the path that takes you to the heart of peace. Take the time to cultivate your inner garden, and the truth will come to take you. Do you feel these moments of truth where its imprint gets inside of you like an blossoming within? Your heart grows bigger. Your consciousness gets animated and your soul smiles, expanding more and more. And that's the message of El Morya. Amhaj.
Thank you.
These-
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. These are beautiful, beautiful supports for forever, not just for today, for any moment. So it's already an hour. You know what? I was planning to do a meditation, but I think what we listened to is absolutely beautiful. So what I suggest is we get into meditation together silently and to sink in all that information and all the advice of these two masters. I can't make a meditation after these two masters. Oh man. Okay, so I can put a little bit of music and we just meditate in silence. Give me 1 sec. Can you hear it? So I invite you to close your eyes, to find a good position, comfortable. And let's set the intention that the words of the masters we've just listened to stay with us and guide us towards our new path. Thank you once again for being here. I wish you a wonderful new moon. Ciao, ciao. Thank you. Thank you for being here.